Good morning. Welcome to Mishmas. We are on day 8. If you guys have seen previous Mishmases, you know I will definitely start to lose track of time, but pretty sure we're on day 8 now. We are enjoying the double espresso scuro. So not a lot of actual coffee comes out, so I did add a little bit of hot water in here, and it's espresso, so it's very strong. It's very strong. It's very coffee. Let me look up on the Nespresso site if there's any sort of special notes or anything. It is intensely roasted and cocoa. It says, double espresso scuro is highly roasted blend made from Central American Robusta and Arabicas. Its very dark, smoky character is enriched by notes reminiscent of cocoa and vanilla. Double espresso is the optimal blend for coffee with milk or over ice. Well, I watered it down a little bit, so I have an Americano here. It is definitely, I would agree with smoky. Smoky to me is sort of that like burnt, that burnt flavor you get. Yeah, this is strong. This is definitely for coffee lovers. Butters has changed positions. A previous morning she was over here and now she's over there in the chair. Well, anyway, let me enjoy this coffee and let's open up today's advent calendars. All right, day 8. Day 8. Oh, up here. Okay. Day 8. Ooh, the wood sage and sea salt. This has become one of my favorites from Jo Malone. And I'm not sure that I actually like it as a fragrance, like to wear, but I love, love, love it as like hand soap, lotion, body wash, like all of that stuff. It's such a good, like clean, super clean unisex fragrance. Okay, day 8. Day 8, oh, right here. Ah, a solid perfume. I love these. I have a collection of these. Which one is this one? Let's see. Oh, this is the Orpheon. Yes, the tonka bean and cedar. Oh, and it flips up. These are the solid perfumes. Really nice, like light option, but great, great, great for like travel or to keep in your bag if you're worried about like, you know, breaking a perfume bottle or if that's happened to you in the past. I love these solid options. And look at this. These are great gifts too because they're not that expensive, at least not for diptyque. And they're weighty and they're just really impressive. And they're great like stocking stuffers or just like a really beautiful, precious gift. Oh, I love these. And they're refillable, by the way. I don't know, did you see that? Yeah. That hole right there. Oh, this is amazing. Hey guys, today's Mishmas video is my November favorites, and I'm trying to jazz up my filming room here a little bit, make it a little bit more Mishmasy. I'm realizing I probably need some twinkle lights on this tree. It looks a little sad. In real life, it looks pretty nice. It's got like little pine cones and stuff, and it's got this like burlap covering at the bottom. It's cute, but I'm realizing in the background, it looks a little sad. And then I've got a candle. Yeah, I need to spruce this guy up. Maybe in the next video when I'm sitting here, yeah, it'll look a little prettier. Anyway, November favorites. Okay, so usually what I do is I put everything on, and so I'm made up, and then what I'll do is like cutaways. I didn't have time to put my makeup on today. I'm in typical Mishmas rush. So I'm gonna be putting on my favorites with you and then talking about some other things because I have like 2 different foundations, for example. I'm not gonna put both on. So, speaking of, let's start with foundation. These are the 2 I wanted to rave about. Now, the MAC Studio Radiance, I think maybe I've talked about this in a favorites already, but this is like an old foundation. I think it's been repackaged. I think maybe it's been reformulated slightly in the past, but this is the foundation that the makeup artist used on me when I was in Milan. So I loved it. I loved the really light coverage. I loved like the really natural finish that it had. It had a little bit of radiance, but not too much. I didn't look like super oily or anything like that. And she used C1 and C2 on me. And, you know, she kind of mixed the 2. She used like different shades. When I'm feeling lazy, I just use C2, so as shade reference. But I really, really like this foundation. It's one that I just never got around to trying, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. If you want to check out my Milan vlogs, I talk about it there, and you know, I've used this in a previous video. So anyway, I feel like I've used this, or you've seen this on me quite a few times. So I wanted to put on the Patrick Ta for you because this is newer, and I wasn't sure about this when I put it on for you guys. I did like a try new makeup video, but I've used it, you know, a few times since then, and it is lovely. It's lovely. It wears really, really well. And I was kind of surprised because it is a very glowy, moisturizing kind of foundation. And I thought, oh, this is just gonna, I don't know, like not slide off my face, but you know, like wear away basically. And it didn't. It wears really, really well. I do have very dry skin for reference. So I am using shade 7 Peachy Neutral, which, you know, I thought was okay, but I think I could probably find a better match. I bought this in store and like the lighting was weird. Anyway, you guys know. So I'm just gonna apply this and you guys can see whether or not you like this shade on me. Because it's close. It's close. I just think I could use, I don't know, maybe like the shade a little bit deeper. But see how it's like kind of light? Light on my face. It definitely looks, here, I'll put it on my forehead so you can see, it definitely looks light on my forehead. But it's okay. It's okay. It's not like, I mean, I'm still using it, right? It's not horrible. But anyway, that's the shade that I have, 7 Peachy Neutral. And I'm just gonna put it on half of my face here so you guys can see the difference and how much coverage it has and the finish and all that kind of stuff. So it's a little bit light, but I don't, like I said, I think it's fine. Okay, get over the shade, get over the actual shade, Michelle. So the finish, do you see how it has just a little bit of a glow? And I think that this foundation actually has, like, it's not just shiny and wet, if you will. I feel like there's a little bit of a highlighting quality to this foundation. I think that's what gives it this glow, like just ever so slightly. I don't think it's as much as like a highlighter or as much as if you were to mix a liquid highlighter into your foundation. It's more subtle than that, but it's there. And I think you can probably see it right here the most. It's really, really beautiful. Look at how it like filters my skin, makes it look really soft. It's just gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I've been loving this. And like I said, it wears really well. So that was one pump. I think I need like a half a pump more for my entire face. And it just has a really nice kind of light medium coverage, which I really love. I love light medium coverage foundations. I like my skin to shine through. For those of you who've been watching me for a while, you've heard me say that a gazillion times, but if you're new to my channel, that is my preference. I like glowier foundations with like a light medium coverage, and that's what I get with this one. Really beautiful. Okay, so that is the foundation for today. For concealer, I've whipped out my Chanel Longwear concealer. I have it in 20 beige. Yeah, I've just been going strong with this one. So this has definitely been a recent rediscovery. I've been using, as you guys know, the Westman Atelier a lot, the Dior Forever Skin Correct concealer that I've been using, it feels like for years now. But I resurrected this one and I really, really love it. It has a very light gel sort of consistency. And so it just sort of glides onto the skin and it blends out really beautifully. And I would say the coverage is very natural. It's not super duper high coverage. It's not as high coverage as a Westman Atelier, but it does a really good job, you know, camouflaging, discoloration and those sorts of things. And it really just stays put. I'm not one to use powder. Again, I have very dry skin. So a lot of concealers, if I don't set them down with powder, they'll move, they'll kind of like migrate into my fine lines, they'll do funky stuff. This one never does. It basically stays the same. It looks the same at the end of the day as it does when I apply it. It's just been a long time favorite of mine. I'm just gonna use my trusty A506 brush from BK Beauty to blend that in. And there, it just smooths out, brightens up my under eyes, just a touch, really natural. Now I do have a new bronzer. If you watched my luxury makeup try-on haul I posted like a few days ago, I hauled a bunch of stuff from Nordstrom and I just fell in love with this bronzer. This is the Lancome CE Skin Transforming Bronzer and I have it in the shade 02 Light. Swatch it for you because you can't really tell in the pan, but once you get it on the skin, hold on, is that better? It looks like there's a little peachiness, a little pink to it. So it's a really beautiful bronzer that not just warms up your skin, but it almost like brightens and lightens your skin too. Like it's very fresh. It's very fresh. It makes my complexion look really, really lively. So I'm gonna go ahead and just apply it like a bronzer. So where I would contour and also bronze. So there it is applied, and I think you can, maybe you can make out through through the video, like the slight kind of bright tone that it has. It's just really gorgeous. The formula also is really easy to blend out. It is very, very soft. I don't know if you guys can see all the kick up in there. It's a very soft pressed powder. When you swatch it, it feels like velvet. So I'm using a natural haired brush, and it picks up very, very easily. So just don't go like stabbing your brush in here. But it makes for a powder that blends out really, really seamlessly. I think I picked up too much. Really seamlessly. Yeah, it blends right out. Down my nose, on my chin. Really, really gorgeous. So again, that's shade 02 Light. Such a big fan. Another bronzer, in quotes, another bronzer that I wanted to mention, because I kind of forgot about this, and someone asked me a question and it kind of like brought it back into my life. But this is the old Bobbi Brown Illuminating Bronzing Powder in Antigua. Now, I believe this has been disconnected. And I remember, you know, when I first purchased this, I was a little confused. I was like, how is this a bronzer? But it works great, especially if you have a cooler, paler skin tone. It is just wonderful. It works really, really well, even though it just looks like a blush. And of course you could use it as a blush if you want. But it's just a really beautiful, cool toned bronzer. And, you know, I'm not surprised Bobbi Brown came out with this. She's so great with like muted colors and perfecting that sort of like natural look. And so someone asked me, because this is discontinued, is there anything out there that's kind of similar? And I think, of course, you could probably find a blush in this shade, because it really is just kind of a light pink. But I think bronzers are formulated a little bit differently in that they generally have a lot less pigmentation. So you can like pick up quite a bit and just sort of brush it all over, where blush can be very pigmented. Anyway, that's all to say, this Jones Road by Bobbi Brown is very, very close. And this is the bronzer in Dusty Rose. Let me hold up both of them. You can see the difference. The Antigua is more aggressively pink. And the Dusty Rose does have, I think, some more like typical bronzer qualities. But it is such a good bronzer. So if you've been looking to replace your Antigua, I would look at this Dusty Rose. I think it is phenomenal for bronzing. Again, if you have light, pale, neutral to cooler skin tone, I think this works perfectly, and it can double as a blush. So definitely highly recommend this. I'm actually gonna brush a little bit of this onto my cheeks here. But it's such, look at that, it's such a beautiful shade. I wonder if you can get a sense of how that would be a great contour. I don't know if you can see that kind of like blending into my bronzer, but it's so, so good. So I want you to mention that. And the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow, I've been going really, really hard with this. I love, love, love this contour powder. It's a great, just straight up contour powder. You can use it kind of as a bronzer. It's a little bit cool toned for that, I think. So it's really, really great for like just chiseling out your features. But I've also been loving the Glow powder. It's such a great, creamy, subtle highlight. And I've been talking about this product a lot because I mentioned this, I think, in my Sephora recommendations. Did I mention this in my Iconic Makeup? Maybe, but I just love this product. And I think this could have been the first Charlotte Tilbury product I got. Possibly. Anyway, so like a gazillion years ago, like 9-10 years ago. I just love it. It's still going strong. So I'm going to use the Sonia G Designer Pro brush. I'm going to go into the highlight powder. And it's just this really beautiful, like I said, like kind of like a creamy French vanilla shade. And it's just a pressed powder, so you really don't want to use too much. And I like using my Buffer Pro brush from Sonia G to buff out highlighter. And look at how pretty that is. It's so smooth. So, so smooth. I just love the reflect that it gives my skin. It's very bright, but it's smooth. It's not too sparkly or glittery. It's just, yeah, it's just really gorgeous. So going really, really strong and really hard with the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow. As for brows, I'm still going really hard and strong with the Billion Dollar Brows Color and Control Tinted Brow Gel in Raven. I think this has appeared in many of my favorites at this point. And I'm probably getting down in this tube. I feel like it's time for a new tube of this, but it's just great. It's just great. Easy to apply. It does just enough, you know, plumps up my brows a bit. Doesn't make them look too crazy. Very natural, but like a little extra something. So loving that still. This is very new to my collection. This was also part of my Nordstrom, that luxury try-on haul that I did. And I am digging this quad a lot. This is the Burberry eye quad in number 4 Midnight. And I think it's sold out on Nordstrom, but I think it is available on the Burberry site. Anyway, I will link to everything down below in my description box if you're interested. But I love, love, love this color just all over my lid. So I'm just gonna apply that. It's been my like go-to favorite one and done shadow since I got this quad. I'm actually surprised this pan doesn't look more used, considering, I mean, this one color, considering how much I've been using it. And this formula is fairly soft. It's very velvety. It's fairly soft, soft enough so that it's very easy to blend. The powders and the pigments don't blend away, which is nice. Just a little bit, just a little bit. I really, really love it. And this quad is great if I want to sort of dramatize the eye look a little bit. I've got these deeper colors here, a brown and a very deep black. They're gorgeous along the lash line if I want to like deepen up my outer corners. But if you want just a really gorgeous one and done shade, look no further. This is so good. So I've been using that like ever since I got it. Another eyeshadow I've been loving is the Jones Road Just a Sec eyeshadow in Pewter. And they actually sent me a different shade called Cool Brown. And it just reminded me of this pewter. And I was like, oh my God, I have to take that pewter out. And I've been loving it. So this shade is, well, you'll notice I'm pretty consistent here. I like cool tone, kind of like taupe shades, but this one has a lot more, there it is. This one has a lot more like glittery goodness in there. It's much more sparkly than the Burberry shade. The Burberry shade is like a satin finish. It has a little bit of like a soft reflect to it, but nothing like high metallic or glittery or sparkly or anything like that. The pewter definitely does. So I'm actually gonna tap a little bit of this right on top, just to give it like a little bit of sparkle. And you can see that the shades are very similar. I think the Burberry is just a touch warmer. Like the pewter is very gray toned, and the Burberry is very taupey. So yeah, I'm just tapping the pewter on top. It's so good. And this is a very soft kind of formula. It's not a pressed powder. It's like a putty, or what's become known on my channel as putty, a putty texture. So I really, really love it. It's easy to use. It goes on beautifully, and if you want something just a little bit more sparkly, this is a really good option. Okay, I'm just gonna curl my lashes here, and we can talk about mascara. I really love this mascara that I've been trying. It's from Beauty Pie, and it's their Wrap Star Tubing Mascara. And I know some people don't like tubing mascaras, and if you're one of those people, do not get this mascara. It is tubing. I happen to enjoy tubing mascaras. I think they're fun to remove. So they basically like wrap each lash, and then, you know, once you start to remove it, kind of clumps off, it like slides off of your lashes. But I like the way tubing mascaras kind of keep the curl to my lashes. And I like the way they, I don't know, I just like the way they look and the way they go on. They're like separating kind of mascaras. I've never ever, I mean, I guess that wouldn't make sense, but I've never seen a tubing mascara that's like volumizing and super clumpy. Tubing mascaras generally, because they wrap each lash, they're very like separating and lengthening, which is like the lash look that I like. So that is the Beauty Star Mascara. Really nice. Really, natural. Again, I feel like it helps accentuate each lash. And I like the tubing effect. So that's the Wrap Star from Beauty Pie. All right, moving on to lips. So I've got a lot of fun new stuff here. The Dior Rouge Dior Contour Lip Pencil in Grige Attitude 303. I've been playing around with this because when I first tried it, I thought it was a little bit too dramatic of like a contour lip pencil, unless I was using a lipstick of a similar shade. But I think I've learned to apply it so that I get a nice contour, but it's not too stark. So the first thing is I don't really overline my lips because that right there is already a very, very dramatic look. Unless you want something dramatic. I'm going for something a little bit more natural. And so I'm kind of sticking to my lip line here. And then I will take the brush that's on the other side of the pencil and I will soften up that line. And this pencil is great because it does set down, but it takes a bit for it to set down. So it gives you some time to blend it out and soften it up. See how I've softened up this line? Not quite as deep and dark as when I first applied it. So there is the lip liner all by itself. And yeah, I've really come to enjoy this. I really like using the brush. When I first was playing around with this, I would draw the line and I would go in with my finger. That was a little bit too much. I felt like I was just kind of rubbing off the lip liner, especially because this liner takes a little bit to set down. So I like using the brush, which has like a little bit of a softer touch to it, and it just blends it out perfectly. And then it does set down. So then I go in with one of my new favorite lipsticks. This is the new Lisa Eldridge Rouge Experience lipsticks, and I have fallen in love with the shade Romy. Romy is very, very neutral. There's the shade Lisa, which is much more pink, but I like something that's a little bit more muted, a little bit more neutral, a little bit more brown in there, a little bit more cool toned, if you will. So I'm just gonna draw this on. It is such a beautiful formula. It's so comfortable. It glides right on. It doesn't feel especially like extra silicone-y. There's like those lipsticks that feel like whoop, like they just like slide on, like not a problem. But I find those to be drying as the day goes on and as like the lipstick has been sitting on my lips. I feel like that silicone dries out my lips. I don't have that with this. This also, it doesn't have that kind of like synthetic kind of slip to it. It just is, it just glides on beautifully. It wears beautifully. The pigmentation is gorgeous. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I think it is a perfect match for this 303 Dior lip pencil. It's such a good combo if you want to do like a little contour to your lips. But isn't that pretty? I love that shade. I love it so much. And if you guys did not know, these are refillable. So another plus to this gorgeous, gorgeous case. All right, so that is the Romy all by itself, and I'm pointing this out again because I'm gonna put a lip gloss on top. So I've been loving this City Lips from City Beauty lip gloss. I love this formula. It's been a long time love of mine, but this shade, which is Silver Skyline, is one of their newer ones, and I love it. So it gives my lips a little bit of like a frosty, high-lit kind of appearance. It's one of those milky lip glosses. Actually, let me swatch it over here. It's one of those milky lip glosses, and I really like that milky appearance. I know it seems, I don't know, like if I say it too much or if I think about it too hard, I'm like, that's gross, but I really like the look of it. So let me dab a little bit on. I'm actually gonna use my finger. So it's really pretty by itself, but as you can see, it really adds a nice amount of gloss and shine and shimmer to any lipstick. But I do like wearing that lip gloss with that contour pencil. So I'll fill in a little bit more with that contour pencil on my lips and then layer that gloss on top. It's really pretty. I love it. And those are all of my favorites for November. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Everything will be linked down below in my description box. Please comment down below with some of your favorites, your recent favorites. I always love hearing from you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I will see you in tomorrow's Mishmas video.